Hi and welcome. My name is Helga Marin. I'm an inspirational speaker and health and wellness coach. I want to personally congratulate you for signing up for this amazing leadership program. By committing to this program, you've taken a very, very important step towards becoming a great leader. Yes, the world needs new, brave leaders. We need leaders to take this planet and this population to a whole new level of existence. Yes, we need leaders who will stop focusing on just economic growth and start focusing on human and spiritual growth. Why is it global warming? And why are the oceans filled with plastic? Why do we torture and drug animals? Why is there hunger, injustice, and suffering in the world? And why are there so many of our most important animal species dying out? It is because we live in a society that focuses mostly on economic growth. Whatever the cost is to our health, our well-being, and to our planet. Who cares if we pollute our planet, torture animals, destroy the nature, and the food that we eat, as long as we're making money? Well, I do, and I hope you all agree with me that these things need to change. By shifting our focus from economic growth to human and spiritual growth, we can start to make lasting changes that will not only affect us and our children, but coming future generations as well. What I really want to talk about today is what it means to be a leader. Actually, what it means to be a compassionate leader. You see, in leadership theory, we talk about two types of people, leaders and followers. Now, after I've described the two types, you have a choice today to either cultivate becoming a leader or becoming a follower. It's actually up to you. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at the two types of people, leaders and followers. And what I'm going to be doing today is describing a leadership that I call compassionate leadership, because there are many types of leaders in the world. And I believe compassionate leadership is the kind of leadership that can change the world. So let's get started. Followers, or ducks, like I sometimes call them, they quack and they complain. They blame other people for their misfortunes and they play victims all the time. The problem of having the mindset of a victim is that when you feel victimized, you're basically giving away your power to your circumstances or to other people. And this will leave you weak and helpless. And because you feel helpless, you don't make any effort to improve your life or to change the circumstances that you're in. Now, there are more things that characterize followers. Followers have difficulties making their own decisions, and they're always thinking about what other people think of them. They are constantly asking other people's opinions because they don't really trust their own. Now, when it comes to rules, to them, rules, they don't need to make sense. They're there to be followed and not to be questioned. They never take responsibility when things go wrong, and they always find ways to blame others. In short, we can say that followers usually suffer from anxiety and stress. It's very stressful to be always worrying about what other people think of you, worrying about doing the wrong thing, worrying about not to fit in. That's exhausting. I hope at this point you're thinking, no, that's not who I want to be. I don't want to be a follower. I want to be a leader. And I hope so too, because I think you have the potential to become a great, passionate leader. And so let's take a look at what are the characteristics of a compassionate leader. A compassionate leader is someone who is really confident in himself and he trusts himself. He has a strong mind and he has his own opinion, values, and beliefs. He uses those values and beliefs to guide his behavior. And he is always trying to better himself and better the world in some way. A compassionate leader, he couldn't care less about what other people think of him. I mean, he is not afraid to make mistakes, and he takes on challenges all the time. He's constantly stepping out of his comfort zone and celebrates mistakes because he knows that the only way he's going to grow and learn is through those mistakes. Thomas Edison, one of our greatest inventors, was once asked how he felt about failing 1,000 times before actually inventing the light bulb. Now, Thomas Edison, he answered this, and this answer became famous. He said, "I haven't failed once, but what I've proven, that those 1,000 ways, they don't work." Now, this is what I'm talking about, that there are no mistakes, only learning experiences. Now, let's continue to describe a compassionate leader. He knows when to take stand against rules that don't make sense to him. He knows how to take stand against injustice. Do you remember Rosa Parks, the black lady who sat down in a seat dedicated to white people? She took a stand against something that didn't make sense to her. She refused to move and said, "Well, I'm not following those silly rules." Well, she faced a lot of hard consequences, but she fought hard against this injustice. And she made a real difference to the Black community. Now, Rosa Parks is a perfect example of a compassionate leader. She's a perfect example of how one human being can make a huge difference to the world. Now, that's what I'm talking about, because when you are a victim, you don't see the possibilities. Why? Because when you're a victim, you blame things on others. And so you feel that the situation needs to change for you to feel better. And that's not true. You can always make your situation better if you take responsibility. And this is why it becomes so important not to play the victim. Now, lastly, a compassionate leader, he does not think only about himself and his own needs. He doesn't care about his own personal gains, but he's always thinking about what's best for people around him or the society as a whole, and he acts accordingly. So just to summarize, I believe that all of you can become compassionate leaders. I believe that all of you can develop the characteristics of a compassionate leader. You don't necessarily need to become a leader of a big group. It's actually enough that you become a leader in your own life. Because just as Gandhi said, become the change you wish to see in the world. So this is what I want to say to all of you. Become the change you wish to see in the world. Cultivate independent thinking. Cultivate creativity and thinking outside the box. Cultivate your courage, self-reliance, vulnerability. Cultivate your relationships with others, and cultivate your compassion and kindness, because this is how you change the world. Thank you.